This 13th floor video session is powered by The Rock Shop. Hi, welcome to the 13th floor. I'm Marty Duda. Today we have the map room with us. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey, hey.
And the map room consists of Simon Gooding and Brendon Morrow. You guys have been doing this for a few years. You were with us, 2 or 3 years ago?
Yeah, 2013, I think.
Yeah.
It was.
And you have a new album out now called Weatherless, which is about to be released. So we need to catch up, see what you guys have been up to over the intervening years. Listening to the record, if I remember correctly, the previous record was kind of more guitar-based and kind of folky sounding, and this one has more stuff happening.
More production.
Yeah.
Yeah, so our first record, we wrote a lot of it when we were traveling. We just had 2 acoustic guitars, and it came back, and that kind of
Were you traveling in South America?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I remember.
Yeah, so that was kind of like all built up from acoustic guitars, and we sort of kept that as a basis for the songs, whereas this time we kind of had all our tools available, and I don't know, maybe decided to make a record with a little bit more production, something after playing a little bit more live with the first record. We wanted to make stuff that was, you know, maybe a bit more upbeat, dancey.
Yeah, and I think our tastes slightly changed as well over that time. Like, we started listening to a bit more dancier kind of stuff rather than the indie pop kind of folk stuff we were listening to when we were traveling.
Right.
And yeah, like Brendan said, from playing live, we wanted stuff that would translate a little bit better to a show, have people dancing around and a bit more beatsy and up.
Yeah, and it's easier to just travel with guitars, and now that you're kind of settled down, you have keyboards and things that you can play around with
Exactly.
as well. So.
Yeah, which probably didn't help the amount of time it took to make the record.
But did it take a long time?
Yeah, it did take quite a long time, yeah. So the last one was 2013, and yeah, we spent basically 2 years kind of producing it, maybe a year writing it.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a fun process, but often.
And how does it work between the two of you guys? Do you have kind of defined roles when it comes to the production?
Yeah, a little bit. It's actually an interesting process because we live in different cities at the moment.
All right.
So a lot of the writing is initially done separately.
So you live in Auckland, right?
I live in Wellington.
You live in Wellington.
Brendan's up here.
You live in Wellington. Okay.
And so
Nice
often,
guess.
50-50.
so often it will be a case of like, I'll start a demo or a song, put a rough production together, and then send it up to Brendan, who will listen and add his ideas, and then vice versa, Brendan will send me something, which is really cool, I think, because we sort of act as each other's editor and kind of, you know, filter out the bad stuff and say, you can pretty quickly tell if he's enthused by a new song, and then I can carry on with it.
Well, let's see what we're going to hear. Several songs, so we'll get to one of the songs off the new record called Other Animal is the first one we're going to hear. And tell me about the genesis of that one.
That one was probably pretty early. Do you want to take that?
That was, yeah, like when we were writing the record, we sort of did it on and off over like multiple sessions over a couple of years, really. And one of them, we were just having a jam one day, and it kind of was one of those days where not much was happening creatively. We were kind of just trying things out. Simon was on the drums, I was on the keys, then I was on the drums, and we were just jumping around. And then we kind of put down a couple of ideas and abandoned the day. Just went home and went, oh, well, today kind of sucked. You know, didn't really get much, but whatever. And then the next morning we woke up and kind of had to listen through some of the ideas in the morning, and then there was this kind of bass line and drum beat and kind of a rough vocal melody of this thing. We thought, oh, hang on, that's pretty cool. And it was the bass line and the vocal, the chorus melody from Other Animal. And so it sort of was born out of this weird session that nothing happened, and it kind of, and then, yeah, it sort of just went from there. We built it up over time, jammed it with the guys in the band, and yeah, it became a song on the record.
Excellent. All right, well, let's give it a listen, and then we'll come back and talk some more.
Wants to start again, get a new job, find another friend. Say it out loud so you make it true. And put the fire out when it's close to you. I'm the only one you need, and it's easier to borrow time. If all the other animals gathered at the edges sing, wake me up if I'm asleep, back me up and going in. If all the other animals laughing at the latest thing, in, out, touch. In, out, touch. In, out, touch. In, out, touch. Tell you all the time. So if you're getting lost, would you let me know? 'Cause now we're all here, but we missed the show. There's only really one thing left to do. And if I figure it out, I'll get back to you. If I'm the only one you need, and it's easier to borrow time. If all the other animals gathered at the edges sing, wake me up if I'm asleep, back me up and going straight through. With all the other animals here for the rest of you. In, out, touch. In, out, touch. I tell you all the time. In, out, touch. In, out, touch. I tell you all the time. Just halfway home, halfway home, just halfway home, halfway home, just halfway home, halfway home, just halfway home, halfway home.
Righto, we're back here at the 13th floor with the map room, and we just heard Other Animal. And for those keenly observant folks, they will notice that there's 3 of you playing and only 2 of you here. So the bass player is Jared.
Yep.
Tell us about him a little bit.
That's Jared Kahi,
Yeah.
and he's a great bass player and also helps us a lot with the harmonies, and he's all over the record singing. And there's actually another guy in the band too, Andy Keegan, who plays drums, but we couldn't fit him in here today in this lovely space. But yeah.
What size drum kit does he have?
Yeah.
It's like, what's his name? Carl from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. Do you ever see that freaking thing?
Yeah. You can find out on Friday.
I saw them play once, and sure enough, they did have like this giant gong, and I swear the guy only hit it once.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be annoying to be the roadie for that, eh? Just
Yeah.
lugging it out each night. Oh.
Anyway, so you guys, last I knew, you're involved in music production for lots of other artists as well. Is that something you're still? I'm pretty sure I've seen your names on other records that have come through here. So,
yeah.
What kind of stuff have you been involved with in recent times?
I've been working on a bunch of music with various different artists down in Wellington quite a lot. I'm based down there at the moment.
Right.
And been working with some great people down there. It's a really cool kind of creative, slightly more indie, weirder scene down there than Auckland, maybe.
Right.
A guy, Grayson Gilmore, I just finished a record with him. Yeah. And a girl called Esther. It's really great too. And another cool band called Physical, who are coming out soon. And yeah, so we basically do that studio work in between our records and try and, take the skills that we learn from that environment and put them into our own stuff and steal the best ideas.
Yeah, I was wondering if it helps you get your stuff done, or it kind of takes away because you're kind of taking up all your time doing this other stuff.
Yeah, I think I was thinking about this the other day. I think it makes, well, it's definitely a lot longer process when you're in the studio working on something that's creatively your own.
Right.
So like when I'm working with a band, I can be a bit more objective and quicker with my decisions in terms of how it should sound or the arrangement. But as soon as it's our song, every little decision comes under the microscope and it takes a really long time to come to
I would imagine
conclusions.
the acts that you're working with expect you to be able to have an answer right away because they've hired you to do this, so you're supposed to be the expert, right?
Yeah. But if it's your stuff, you kind of sit there and go, maybe the melody's not right, maybe the lyrics need to change, or yeah,
it could be one of 1,000 things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Many choices to make.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've chosen to perform another tune off the new album. It's called "Hold Me Up to the Sun." So, can you tell me about that one before we hear it?
So this is one that you actually had. I went overseas was it like a couple of years ago, and we sort of almost had the track list of the record together as the songs we wanted to take into the studio. And I got back, and Simon had come up with this cool little looping piano melody and some rough kind of idea and sent it through. Said, hey, what do you think about this? While you're away, I sort of had this new idea of something that was a little bit maybe more electronic in Genesis, like ditching the guitar for a while because I think he was sick of playing and all the rote learning, all the muscle memory of the guitar. So he just fit around the keyboard, and I was like, wow, that is super cool. I really, really like that. And so, yeah, like from there, built it up. And just, keep forming the structure, and we took it into the studio, and it was pretty much like a lock it in straight from the first time I heard it on the record, and we just went from there.
Excellent. All right, well, let's give her a spin, and
cool.
We'll come back.
in line, took my eye and held my breath. But I don't mind wasting time in the present tense, holding me up to the sun, coming up just like you wanted, holding me up to the sun. Let go of everything they told you for sure. And this could be the first time I saw we're running out of headroom. Let go of everything they told you for sure. And this could be the first time I saw a little of the world through somebody else's eyes.
Welcome back to the 13th floor, and welcome back to the map room. We have Simon and Brendon here, and more keen observers would note that you have your phone on your keyboard on that song. So what's going on there? You're generating some kind of thing.
It's the map room app.
Yeah.
It plays the song for you if you get too nervous.
Nice one.
No, it's good to have the loop for the drums on that. Like we have an electronic loop that we have live. Andy, our drummer, usually triggers it.
Right.
It just kind of like loops around. It kind of goes with the looping keyboard, kind of creating this big loopy feel around the whole song. And so we felt like, even though it was a stripped back acoustic sort of performance, it was good to have the loop in there. And the iPhone was a logical thing to run it. So, yeah.
How do you feel about technology in general? Do you think it kind of drives the music, or is it the other way? Is it just a matter of how you approach it, or?
Yeah, I think it can just be another tool, you know, like it can be, you have a guitar, you have a piano, and you have technology, whether it's sequencing or samplers. And I think through the course of this record, we've become more and more kind of in tune with what's available and what you can do, but we're by no means, as skilled as some people with synthesizers, but that's kind of a good thing. Mm-hmm. You know, we kind of tend to fiddle around with sounds and then go, ooh. And that's, like we were saying before about the muscle memory of Simon with Hold Me Up to the Sun and trying it out on the keyboard. You're kind of looking for new ways to surprise yourself and not just go for, old territory that you know what's going to happen if you play that chord into that chord. And sometimes new sounds on new instruments can inspire you with that. And then again, it can also become like an endless pit that you just go down, just trying stuff out. You know, like if you have an acoustic guitar, you know what the limitations are.
There is a stopping point at some place. You've run out of strings.
Like, you can do whatever you want. So I think it helps more than hinders us.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the stigma attached. I mean, it used to be. I think maybe 10 years ago, you'd see somebody come up on stage and push a button, and you're like, this is not a live performance anymore.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's the case anymore because people manage to integrate them
I think so. Yeah, I mean that we really like that band Caribou, and it's quite cool to watch videos of them playing because it's obviously all sequenced and all Ableton triggered and everything, but it still was so live. You know, they're all playing it live, and I think we've tried to do that. We never wanted to feel like you're watching a band and you don't know where a sound is coming from. You know,
right.
Sometimes if you see a laptop, you go, I don't know who's doing that. But
right.
I'd like to think that people could watch us and know that we're doing every part of it in some way or another.
I'm still suspicious of DJs on stage, though.
Yeah.
I just
all
me.
those ones, yeah.
They're sitting there doing this knob twirling. I just get the feeling it's going to sound exactly the same if they didn't have their hands anywhere near the place.
That's a total 90s hangover, right?
Yeah, right.
The guy just scratching at the back.
Yeah.
Like Linkin Park and stuff, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, got a lot to answer for those guys.
So we have two more songs we're going to hear to close out our little set today. We have one from the record, which is called Any Other, and then a brand new song, Follow It Down. So if you want to introduce those for us, please.
Yeah, so Any Other is the last track on the record, and it's actually one that's been around for the longest, I think. We wrote that sort of off the back of the first album, and we started playing it for those shows. I think we played it at that last release as well. And it's kind of stayed the same ever since. We kind of put the arrangement together pretty quickly on that one, and it's quite a big, sprawling epic with a big tempo change at some point in the middle. And the new one, Follow It Down, is brand new, and we're just kind of still figuring it out, so hopefully it all goes well. And actually, I spent some time in Bangkok last year, and I wrote it over there, wrote the start of it in that big, hot, sweltering, crazy place with a little synth and a drum machine, and then sent it to Brendon, and he was like, yeah, keep going. And
cool.
Yeah.
So this bodes well for another Map Room album, not necessarily taking 4 years before the next
Yeah.
Don't speak too soon on that one. We seem to take a while once we get started.
Don't get started.
We were thinking it would be good, like the last time where we started playing new songs right at the end of that cycle, if we could fit a new one in now, it would kind of spur us into action.
Yep, good thinking. All right, well, and are you touring the country, or I know you're doing a show here in Auckland, but are there other shows happening?
Just Auckland and Wellington at this stage.
Yeah.
And then we're looking to play a few more in a couple of months.
Excellent. All right, well, thanks, guys, for stopping by, and it sounded fantastic in here.
Pleasure.
Good luck with the record and the shows, and we'll see you in maybe less than 3 years.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Marty.
Yeah.
I'm out of sorts. I'm on a sinking feeling. She called me up. I've gone and crashed my car again. I took too much until it all unraveled into a horizon of a million tiny houses. Any other phone, it's alright, it's all mine. 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 And on the wall, a line scrawled out message: we'd never stop, we'd never leave the bedroom. Any other phone, it's alright, it's all mine. Any other phone, it's alright, it's all mine. Any other phone, it's alright, it's all mine. Any other phone, it's alright, it's all mine.
excuse me if I have to ask. You're the man out on the street. How long till the rising tide comes right up at my feet? The dull glow of the neighborhood could cut right through the air. I don't know how we landed here, but somehow I don't care. So tell me, who do you trust? In the blink of an eye, the damage is done out of your arms. When you swallow the truth and steal the air out of my lungs, and you fall too far to turn it around, so you have to follow it down, 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 down. Really follow it down, 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 down. Please excuse me, but I have to know where the island meets the sea. And how low will the echo go if I can't see my feet? Know enough to be here alone, but it just don't feel right. Are we all holding out for someone else to take that fight? So tell me, who do you love? In the blink of an eye, the damage is done, second to none. When you swallow the truth, steal the air out of my lungs, and you fall too far to turn it around, so we have to follow it down, 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 down. Really follow it down, 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 down. Really follow it down, 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 down.